Blog Talk Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Friday. It's actually Friday afternoon, and this is the norm that I'm doing a show on a Friday afternoon, which means that the guests better either be really special, I've been drinking wine, or a combination of both, or neither. Actually, it's that the guests are very special, and they haven't had anything to drink. Some of us have a date with our computer all night long, reading about 6,000 technical words. Yay! Doesn't that sound like fun on Friday? Just want to do a couple quick announcements before we get going on the show. I want to remind everybody that next week is my birthday week. And what does that mean on the show? Well, it means that I've booked absolutely everybody that I love or adore, that I admire, that I think is wonderful. Not that all my guests aren't wonderful. So just a couple headliners. I'm taking off on Monday. Scotty B, U.S. Project and Bad Boy and about 8,000 other bands is on the show on the 11th. The 12th, we're having the Mixed Match director. It's an independent film. He's coming on the show Wednesday. Thursday, Jennifer Rowe is coming on, which is actual author. And then on Friday, I'm not telling who's coming on the show. I'm really super excited about that. So I don't want to remind everybody, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm having shows. Obviously, I'm off on the weekend for my birthday. 2 quick reminders about Kerwin's comic book as well as my show. Comic book is finally ready for friends. It's not in final comic book form, but the reality is most of you are at least 30, and you really don't care if it's in a comic book form, do you? I didn't think so. So I want to remind everybody to go out and get a copy. I'm going to make a huge event page this weekend. All I ask is that you consider doing this. There's only 2 things I want for my birthday, and that's for everybody to get a comic book of Kerwin's. And, of course, I wouldn't be lying excuse me, I don't know what's up with me today. I can't talk. I would be lying if I didn't say it would be lovely for all of you to support my new platform. As you all know, I've been on Blog Talk Radio for 5 years, and I've been recruiting and trying to get sponsors for the last 5 years. And because my career has taken a good direction, meaning a much bigger direction, now I have less time to be doing things like looking for sponsors. So somebody introduced me to a lovely platform called Patreon, I think it's called, or Patreon. I'm not sure how to say it, but basically the long story short is that all of you as listeners get a chance to support me, and all it really takes is $1 a month commitment for 12 months. That's $12. You can't even get drunk on $12, folks, but you can get entertainment all year round from yours truly. So I strongly encourage both of you, all of you, to go ahead, take an opportunity to support both. The last reminder, in case everybody didn't check on my film festival page, there's been an update about the festival. So please, everybody, go ahead and check it out, especially those that are attending or participating. Art is Alive Film Festival is the page itself. So without further ado, some of my favorite people are on the show today, so I'm so excited. I'm not going to let them hold anymore. We have 2 out of the 3 right now, so let's see who I have, and we'll get going with the interview. Okay, which one is this?
Don here.
Okay, this is Don. Okay, that means Thomas must be on the other line. Did Dave let you guys know that he's going to be about 10 minutes late? Did you know that?
We did not know that, but that's okay.
Okay. That's the job of the host to know that, because literally he just sent me a note saying, hey, can I chime in about 4:45? So it's just going to be you and I and Thomas for the first 10 minutes, if that's okay.
All right, let's do it.
All right, awesome. Let's do it. Let me get Thomas on the line. Hi, Thomas.
Hello, hello.
Hi, I'm so nervous. I have 2 men in my ear at the exact same time, almost 3. So this makes me very, very nervous. This doesn't happen often to this girl. So
it'll be our little secret.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm nervous and I'm excited, and I was so hoping that I would have news. And my news was I was going to come on and say right off the bat, oh, my God, can you guys believe that I'm having an interview with a real Foreigner band and that you guys are going to come and co-host? Yeah, because that didn't happen yet. But I am working on it. I am. I sent a formal request to the real dudes, and I was like, hey, can you guys come on my show? Because I'm really awesome, and who doesn't want to know me? So I have to ask you both a question. I've been on the radio for 5 years, and you guys haven't come on yet. I thought I knew every local musician in town. So where have you guys been all these last 2 years?
Well, I've moved around quite a bit.
Okay.
Right, I'm currently playing in 3 lineups. I was in 4, and so moving around, kind of a moving target, hard to hit, I guess, for me anyway.
No, I understand. And obviously, of course, I understand that Don is the same scenario, right? Or Don, are you just into one band, or are you still doing multiple bands too?
No, I'm just focusing on this project right now, but looking forward to writing songs in the future and having a solo thing going on. So.
Okay, I got it. You betcha. Well, since I have the 2 of you alone, we'll focus on the 2 of you, of course, until obviously Dave comes on, and then we can focus as a band.
Well, hold on. Now that I know that, Don, are you looking for a guitar player?
God.
I'm just hearing this.
You guys are killing me already. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's the last minute, folks, at 4:30, whatever it is in the afternoon on a Friday. Well, let's start off a little bit about talking about the both of you. Obviously, both of you, and let me just clarify this. Thomas, you write music as well. Is that correct?
Yes, I write, I produce, I do arrangements, I do a number of things, but I do write my own music, and in the last 10 years, I've actually written several pieces that are out for general public consumption, and I write a lot too, so it sounds like Don and I got some future collaboration to do.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because you both are songwriters. So I have a question really
Yes.
unilaterally to both of you because I'm a writer as well, but I don't write songs. I don't write music. So I'm not really sure what goes into the actual composition or creation, let's say, of a musical song. So let's talk about that a little bit. When you guys are sitting down, is there some form of a means or methodology by which you write music as compared to writing other things? Tell me a little bit about the process, I guess, is what I'm looking for from both of you.
Well, I can tell you how I do it. It starts with an idea, right? So we all are on this planet, living and experiencing life, and some things that drive us to write a song are things that impact us emotionally, physically, financially, however you want to look at it. So I start with a concept. When I write a song, I typically start off with the chorus line. So I wrote a song once called Standard Eagle, and all I had was Standard Eagle, and so I had a chorus line, and I build the verses around that. So I tell the story with the verses, and I'm pretty traditional. I structure my songs in a very traditional, structured way for rock, classic rock, blues, country. So I don't really stray too far. I wouldn't call my writing style progressive, but it starts with an idea, something that's important to me, and I put it to words, and then I structure melodies and music around it.
Very thorough. Thank you. Okay, now on the opposite side of the fence, Donald, are you similar in terms of process, or is it a little bit different for you?
Well, it depends on my mood. But,
exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, to Tom's point, it does start out with an idea, and our living experience here on Earth, and that kind of thing, the emotions that we're going through for that particular time, and for me, I can look back at my past, and I might write something about that, but it all starts in my mind, and I can hear the medley or the chorus line in my mind, and then I'll add lyrics to that idea simultaneously. So it all comes together at the same time for me. So some ideas, they can come within 10 minutes, and others it can take days. So I've tapped into Tom's expertise with regards to his guitar solo playing, and we're kind of doing some things together. But our main focus right now is Headknocker and getting that off the ground.
Oh, of course, obviously. I see that, certainly. And one other similarity that I noticed between the both of you is obviously, of course, Thomas, you founded this particular band, but I understand, Donald, that you had formulated a band by the name of Centerfold, actually. So talk to me a little bit, Donald, about that band and why you chose to formulate it, and then maybe, Thomas, you could talk to me about what your main motivation, besides obviously loving Foreigner, was to putting the Headknocker band together.
Well, going back to Centerfold, you're going back many years. You're going back like 30 years. But at the time, I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to make it big, and I was in my early 20s, and my motivation was to just have a good time and be on MTV someday or something like that. So I had different goals at the time, and we were very good at what we did. Yeah.
You had the hair.
Yes, I did.
And the spandex. You were hot.
Right, and the white leather boots. And, well,
yeah.
Okay, now I know you're checking me out, Tom. I don't know about that. So anyway, we had the talent at the time, and the competition was very, very big back then, and our songwriting wasn't as quick as it should have been, and getting into the studio, but long story short, it was an 8-year run, and we became fairly well known in the Milwaukee area, and we attracted some good sized crowds, and we just had a blast with it, and that's what it was all about for us at the time. And for me to be sitting here talking to you, saying that I survived those days, says a lot.
Well, thank God you did.
Heard that.
Yeah. So definitely good times.
Well, as far as Headknocker goes, I go back as far as Don. My first gig was on or around 1981.
Wow.
And I pursued music as a career at a young age because, like Don, I wanted to be like my musical heroes. I was raised in a musical family. My parents were bluegrass musicians. So I was raised in a musical household. But fast forwarding after all those years and all that craziness to the current status with Headknocker, Dave Sundeen, who will be on the call shortly, him and I had been in a pop variety kind of rock band called Third Wish. And when Third Wish came to its conclusion, Dave and I said, now what? And we decided we wanted to stick together and we wanted to be a team. And a couple of weeks passed, and Dave called me and said, hey, I got an idea. He laid the Foreigner idea on me. I green-lighted it immediately. I said, you know what? That's an awesome idea. I was blown away. I started thinking immediately about the possibilities. And so it gave me a reason to transition from the last project with Dave to this. We had a vision. We envisioned what it could be. And we went out and we assembled a band that we have today, and so that's really the origins of it. I love the challenge of performing this music that's iconic and is loved by so many people, and I just thought if we can do this right, we'll bring a lot of joy and a lot of happiness to a lot of people, and so far, so good.
I agree. Yeah, and no kidding, because you just started in 2015, now it's 2017, so it's been about 2 years or so, and so one of the things I want to ask you is when you first started thinking about doing this and then you first started playing the songs, were you just that familiarized with all of the music, or did you literally have to go back and just do a constant practice? You know what I'm saying, to get right?
I'm glad you asked that question because I was. And the band name Headknocker is a song on their first album.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, I bought the album in probably 1977. And I remember thinking that was my favorite song because it had an old school 1-4-5 hook. It was just a song that just grabbed me as a kid. And I went on to like a lot of Foreigner songs. I can't say that one is my favorite, but it was weird how it brought me back to my old vinyl and my old JCPenney record player. And here I am, a 50-plus-year-old band playing these tunes, and particularly that one. And I just think I'm not a person that says, I never say, well, if it's meant to be, it'll be. I believe that sometimes random chance is just as mysterious. And this song and this band name tie together. And so yes, I was very familiar with the music, all of it really. I mean, there's a few tunes we cover that were, buried deep in the archives. But, yeah, I was very familiar with Foreigner. I grew up with it.
Nice, very nice. Now, Donald, was it the same scenario where you had this same familiarity and same comfort level with most of the songs that were out there, or was this less familiar to you?
Well, right now our library consists of right around 35, 36 songs, and out of those, I probably knew around 33, 34 of them. So yeah, I was very familiar. Wow. I am very familiar with the music, and I, like Tom, I was always a huge Foreigner fan. So when Dave gave me a call with this opportunity, my heart skipped a beat, and I really enjoyed singing. Lou Graham, who was the former lead singer of Foreigner, and now Kelly Hansen, the existing. But I really enjoyed singing the music, even, when the music first came out, to Cold as Ice, and, you know, you got Double Vision and Hot Blood, all those classics.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed singing those. So to have this opportunity to be a front man with this type of project, they met all my criteria that I was looking for, and it just seemed to be a really good fit. And, you know, Dave and I, we go back 30 years as well. Dave was our first drummer in Centerfold, which we were talking about earlier. So we have a lot of history together. And along with our bass player, Ken Gore, him and I go back 30 years as well. This is my first experience working with Tom and Jason and Paul, those guys. But, you know, for us as a unit, you know, we're really beginning to click, and we're pretty excited about it.
Very cool, actually. And Dave, as a matter of fact, is calling in now, so let's get him on the line so we can have all three of us all at once here. Dave?
Hello.
Hi, you found us. Yay, we're all here together. Now I have three men.
Hey, sorry,
oh,
guys.
God, I'm the luckiest woman in Milwaukee. Here we all are. Okay, I'm going to catch up with you, Dave, really quickly.
You're not going to talk in your English accent, are you?
Oh, my
What's
God.
that?
You're not going to do that.
Dave
You're not going
does
to talk
an
in your
amazing
English
accent.
Really?
Hello.
Oh, my God.
How are you all?
Hello. Hello.
How are y'all doing?
God. No, please talk. You can please talk normally. That would be lovely. I'm
No,
already nervous. I really don't need nervous. Okay.
Don't blow up.
I'm going to make.
Dave, don't blow up.
I'm going to have Thomas and Donald take a break here for a second because I've been chatting with them for the last few minutes, so we want to get caught up with you a little bit, obviously. So, of course, those that are listening in that may not know, Dave is the drummer for the band. And so we started off kind of talking a little bit about, well, first of all, I know the other two guys compose music, so I was curious to ask the same question of you. Do you compose and write original music, or are you more on the instrumental side?
Do I compose music?
Yes, sir.
I have in the past, but not lately.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that because I know the other two had, as far as that goes. We also were discussing, obviously, the other two. I had brought up the topic of, obviously, everybody having the familiarity with the Foreigner songs. You guys had started the band in 2015. And so my question to you, Dave, is also, did it take you time at practice with the material, or were you really familiarized right off the bat so you were comfortable with playing this time and again?
Well, it took us a while to get all the members together with this, and so we were all familiar with Foreigner, actually. I mean, we grew up with the music, so it was a concept that Tom and I kind of came up with, and we were involved with a project together before that, and that kind of fizzled out, and we were kind of left with ourselves thinking about what we were going to do. So I said, well, hey, let's, you know, we like this music. Why don't we try this? And it kind of all came together, and here we are 2 years later.
Right, 2 years later, yes, as a matter of fact, and doing successfully well, so I hear, because I've been asking around and asking people, hey, have you seen the band? What's your feedback as it relates to how they perform, et cetera, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But, Dave, my other question to you is, let's you serve as the drummer, and I used to date a drummer. Actually, the father of two of my children is a drummer, so I know all too well about drummers. So,
my condolences.
Oh, okay. Don't say that because I'm very partial to drummers somewhat. But my question to you is
I have a drummer joke that I won't tell. I'll save it for the next interview.
Well, I'm curious to ask this question because my ex used to always say to me, he's like, don't you know, the drummer is the guy that nobody ever recognizes, but it's secretly the one that the chicks all want. So is that true? That the drummer's like the guy in the group that every girl wants?
God, I hope so. You know, it hasn't been the case in all my years,
so you can't miss him.
I just had to ask because he used to say that all the time, and I'm like, no, and he's like, believe it, it's true. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to ask another musician to do the drummer. You're a drummer, you love this, you've been doing it for years, so I'm like, okay, fine. You know, I like my guitar players too, but the drummers are really cool, obviously. Now, this question is a generalized question to all three of you because I know, obviously, Dave, you started playing at the age of about 10 years old, and, of course, Thomas, you started playing around age 15. Donald, I'm a little unclear as to when you started playing/singing. So if all of you could just talk a bit about your experiences in terms of starting at the ages of 10 and 15 is relatively young. So talk to me a bit about how you kind of fine-tuned your performances over time. Was it education? Was it practice? Was it just band experience? Talk a little bit about that if you would.
Well, Don cried a lot as a baby. Does that count?
Kind of, sort of, but not really. Just saying.
Not really.
I'll still cry like a baby at times.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wasn't going to go there. But...
That's okay.
You want me to go first, Cindy?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is this a question? Oh, okay. All right, great. Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, I was in choir when I was in high school, so that's where my training really started. I always enjoyed singing. It was kind of natural for me. I was in a barbershop quartet, and then I was approached to be in a band when I was about 20 years old, and just jumped right in without any really good vocal training, and somehow I was able to get by for about 6 months. But then after about 6 months, I realized that I was singing wrong because I felt hoarse in my voice and just it wasn't working for me. So I chose to take some private lessons, and I did that for about 4 or 5 years. And because of that, because of those 4 or 5 years, being in my 50s, I still have the ability to perform and sing, so which I'm very thankful for. So that's kind of the history with me. It goes back to probably when I was about 12, 13, 14 years old. So that's my history.
Okay. All right,
Thomas,
you're up.
Okay, well, I grew up in a family of musicians. My mother was a guitar player. My father was a banjo player and a harmonica player. We did the bluegrass circuit, where I grew up in the Northeast, New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New York. So music was always just something I did. I started off as a drummer. Parents couldn't really afford to get me a proper drum set. My first drum set was made out of milk crates and cardboard boxes.
Got one for you, Tom.
There was a guitar laying around the house, so I picked it up. My mom taught me chords. I began to play, and then as a teenager, I began to invest in it seriously. So on or about 1980-81, I got my first real guitar, which I still own. It's in my man cave. It's the only thing from my past I've carried with me all these years, and I took it seriously. I invested in it personally and professionally. So my music for me was almost destined just by my upbringing. But as an adult, I made the conscious decision to approach it in a professional manner.
Gotcha. Okay, I see. All right, Dave, that leaves you.
Started when I was 10 years old. I didn't start with just a snare drum. I started with a complete set. I was 10 years old. My mom said I could get a whole drum set. I thought it was pretty cool that I was the only kid on the block that had some kind of instrument around, even though there wasn't any other kids on the block that played. So I was kind of destined to be a basement drummer, I guess, through my youth. And my 3 sisters hated me, because they'd come home from school and they'd be like, "Oh, he's playing again. Would we get him to stop somehow?" And I'm thankful they didn't, take my sticks and beat me over the head with it, because I've been playing ever since.
Oh, sure.
And I've had numerous influences through playing. I love all genres of music. I'm not a big rap fan. I'm not a huge country fan, but there are some country things that I do like. It's always been rock and roll. It's always been hair bands through the 80s, 90s, whatever. And major influences, when I was a kid, was always Buddy Rich. He's the master of the masters, and always will be. Neil Peart, my favorite drummer. He's so innovative. He's the drummer for Rush. He's the best drummer in the world as far as I'm concerned. But there are numerous drummers friends of mine, Jackie Ramos, local talent that was here in Milwaukee for years with Mox Rocks, who left to pursue, his career, and I'm still good friends with him. A friend of mine, Jimmy Winters. All these guys, they've been huge influences on me. So, like I said, it started when I was 10, 54 now, so do the math. I've been playing forever.
Yeah, no kidding.
Man, I didn't realize I was playing with some old guys.
Yeah. What's that?
Well, that leads to my very next question, actually, because you guys are not that old. However, I have interviewed guys that are in your age bracket, and oftentimes they say, even though they haven't, let's say, gone through a whole lot of formalized training, even later on in life, some of them have gone and taken lessons or kind of educated themselves. Do you know what I mean? Done some kind of formalized training. Do you guys see where you'd even have time or interest in doing that in the future, you think? Or you think you're okay with right where you're at?
Well, it's interesting you say that because I've just recently recommitted to actually learning how to play the guitar. And
okay.
Yeah, and so I know I'm fortunate to know what I don't know. So I've committed some time each week to some YouTube lessons where I'm studying chord theory, scales, application of scales, because it's easy to get in a rut, and so I'm trying to just expand my playing, and it's something I haven't done for a couple of years because I've been in so many cover bands and so busy with life and raising kids and job. But I'm saying, hey, look, it doesn't. You can't get done if you don't get started. So I've committed to do a little bit of YouTube lessons for myself.
Nice. And the other two of you?
I'll take on to what Tom was just saying. I'm in the same boat. For me, the key for me is to really understand the importance of warming up. And so I do that through YouTube as well, where a professional vocalist, vocal teacher, has the technique for warming up your voice, and that's key to any singer, is to making sure that you're warming up your voice appropriately so you can perform for 2 to 3 hours without your voice shutting down. And that was a key thing that I was not doing my first few years of singing as a paid artist. But now that we're older, it's even more important. So yeah, I agree with Tom. To put some time aside and do what we can to improve ourselves, which then in turn, the audience appreciates that much more as well. So, if we expect people to pay to see us, we better be top notch. And so that's how I'm looking at it.
Nice. Okay. And then Dave, for you?
For me, it's repetition, doing things over and over and over and over again. We come to this and we try to do things in a kind of an organized manner. Sometimes it gets away from us a little bit, but we do, we really thought.
Uh-oh, did I lose him there? Uh-oh. I lost you there in the last part.
Yeah, welcome to the era of cell phones, right?
Oh, no, we just lost him altogether, actually. He just dropped. Darn it. Well, I'll watch for him, and then hopefully in a second he'll come back. While he's gone, I want to throw this idea out to you guys, or actually it's a question, I should say. Because every band is different, and because you have a good chemistry and all of you have worked in the business so long, do you find that you need to practice less, or is there still that some semblance of a, yes, we need to do this weekly, regularly, etc.?
Well,
go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I have strong opinions about this. Well, in high school I was in theater and drama, and anybody that's done that knows the repetitive, the rehearsals that go, the intense work that goes into putting on a performance like that. For music, a lot of it is, to use a loose term, it's groove. once you've glommed onto a song and you what we say own it, it's a lot easier. Once the band owns it, you don't need to rehearse it as much. In Headknocker, we have a standing practice every Wednesday. We get together every Wednesday, time permitting, calendar permitting, and we run through the rough spots, and we'll go over some old songs that we're tight on, but just make sure that we don't just not play them. So right now we're still building it, so the consensus is we got to get together every week.
Okay. Got it.
The real form.
I'm going to throw Dave. I'm just going to throw Dave back on the line here.
Hello.
By the way, Dave, can you hear me? Okay,
Hello.
sorry we lost you
about
there.
that.
You're back now. Okay, that's okay. We're just talking about
Yeah.
rehearsals in terms of the necessity and the need for weekly rehearsal. And Thomas said, obviously, every Wednesday you have a standing order calendar and time permitting to rehearse. So we're just kind of elaborating on that.
Yep, weekly rehearsal. It's important. Sometimes it's not, though, if you get burned out on stuff. But it's important to keep up, to keep fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I agree.
Once we do that, this stuff that we're doing isn't easy. It's not at all. And I said that from the beginning. This is not an easy project. And I told all these guys that, when we came up with the concept, that this isn't going to be an easy project. I mean, there's 5-part harmonies. There's 6-part harmonies, and Tom's going to come in now, and all our instruments and getting everybody 6 different guys to do the same thing. It's crazy, but it works.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does. Donald, would you concur with that?
Yeah, I would, and just to tag on to what these guys have been saying, I think with the foreigner music, and going off of what Dave was saying with vocals and the 5- and 6-bar harmonies and that kind of thing, that's the crucial part to to be a foreigner tribute is to really dial in, because we don't use samplings or anything like that with our vocals. What you hear is all live, and we really take pride in that. And what the fortunate thing for us is, I believe that since we do have a good working unit with regards to knowing each other and that kind of thing, we have the ability to know which part everyone should be singing because of their vocal ability and their range. So that part can come quickly, but to stay honed in on that and just continue to practice that just makes us better and better. So, we put ourselves up there with any foreigner tribute act that's out there, and we've done some checking. We've done some checking, and I'd have to say that not to sound egotistical or anything. I believe that we're one of the top in the nation, and people just once our name gets out there, you'll hear more about us, and your radio program here just helps with that. So we thank you.
Oh,
Absolutely.
not a problem at all.
Thank
it's my honor. Absolutely, it's my honor. You guys make me nervous, first of all, because you're like the closest thing to foreigner I'm going to get. Because every time I see them, I'm like in the middle of the place, and I'm waving, and I'm like, yeah, here's your stalker fan. I mean, I didn't just say stalker, but here's your big fan. And hopefully they're not listening to this right now because they'll never come on my show, the real live ones. Which means I should ask you the inevitable foreigner question, which is, have you met them in person? And second of all, if your counterpart in foreigner were standing here right now, do you think that they would be impressed? Do you think that they would be looking at you and saying, I love your work, but you know what I mean? What do you think that their critique of you would be?
Can I go?
Tom?
First of all, we never met him, I've never met him personally.
Okay.
We did go to the show last year in Waukesha, which Tom's girlfriend actually won the autographed guitar, which was kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah, they had an autographed guitar, and there was a raffle or whatever, and Tom's girlfriend, Shane, she won the thing. So Tom was on his bike that night, so I got to take it home for a couple of days, and
cool.
It was kind of.
Well, I'll just say this. if the real Mick Jones came to see me, he'd probably say, "Keep working, son."
Keep working, yeah, son.
Because Mick Jones is I view Mick Jones a lot like I view Keith Richards. Never underestimate either one of these. Never underestimate either of these cats on guitar. They do things on guitar that the average listener doesn't know. We're talking open tunings, chord progressions, things that they do are elusive. They sound great in your ear, but if you're a guitar player trying to chase it, it's a bit of work. And I have the utmost respect for Mick Jones, not only for the music he brought to me in my youth, but and this opportunity that I have now. But man, that cat can lay it down. And I by no means will say I have conquered Mick Jones's catalog. I'm constantly listening, interpreting, and very fortunate to have this challenge. But he is the man, and I never lose sight of that.
Hey, Tom, don't cut yourself short on that. You're doing a great job.
Awesome.
I told you I know what I don't know.
You know what we say about saying great job, don't we, Don?
Maybe we shouldn't.
Okay, so now...
Yeah,
Dave,
I know what I don't know. That's the important part.
No, Dave, would you think that Chris Frazier would be standing there and he'd be like, "Oh, my God, you are so awesome on those drums, and you've totally mastered this, and this is awesome"? I'm thinking yes. Yeah?
No, I think he would say I could hold my own, as as any drummer probably could. But to say that I'm, equal to him, that would be an absolute falsehood. I got a lot more practicing and a lot more things to do, But this is what he does for a living,
Sure.
He practices and he plays every single day. If I did that for a living, I would probably be as good as he is. To have him standing in front of me though would be awesome, So.
Okay, and then that leaves you, Don.
I look forward to meeting him someday. That would be great.
Right? Me too. You and I both. I'm working on it steadily, hardly, often.
Yeah.
So then that brings us to Don.
Yeah.
So what do you think? How are you weighing in vocally in terms of your parallel match in the band? Do you think that you might come close, or that in some ways you parallel his performance?
Well, to answer that question, well, that's a tough one because you have Lou Gramm on one side, and then you have Kelly Hansen on the other side. Two phenomenal vocalists, and Lou Gramm has always been one of my favorite vocalists. He'd probably say, "Hey, nice pants," keep working on the vocals. But
John has those pants, man. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, the pants also are awesome.
But I think I'm giving it a good college try, and I think that they'd have a smile on their face, and I'd hope that they'd coach me along the way. But I think that we as a unit, as a band, are delivering a product that all the fans are appreciating, and we see it at our shows. And we this is the kind of music that where you can be in your 20s or you can be in your 70s, and people know this music. It is so fun. I mean, to see.
And we've had both in our shows.
Exactly. That was my point. You can see a 21-year-old dancing with a 75-year-old, and they're mouthing the words, and it is so fun to see that. And I'm a firm believer in audience participation, so they're singing with me, and which can help with with my vocals as well if they're singing with me. So. But yeah, I mean, I think Lou Gramm and Kelly Hansen would say, "You got this, brother. You keep going." So.
That's cool. That's awesome. Well, I'll certainly let you guys know if I get feedback. Because when I emailed the publicist, the people that handle them, I said, today I'm actually interviewing, and I put the name of your band and the individuals, and they said, hey, I'll send you the link. And then in case you guys aren't aware of who they are, we'll just see if they have any feedback or information. I don't know if it'll get us anywhere, but it's worth a try, right? What the hell? They have a right to know.
Thank you very much.
Immortalizing them in the best way possible. Well, every little bit helps because I'm finding that, and actually I want to talk about that a little bit. Your take, because I often get a chance, not as much as I like to anymore, but interviewing locals is one of my biggest things because last time one of the locals came on, he got 3 gigs out of the deal. So let's cross our fingers. But I like to do it because it helps get exposure. But more importantly, I want to hear a little bit about, and I want you guys to talk about this because there are a bunch of musicians and artists that listen to my show. You're a bit of the older crowd talking to some of the younger crowd listening to my show. So if they're out there and they're all excited and they're like, man, we're in the garage and we're a band and we're going to go out and get booked in Milwaukee and it's going to be all cool and simple, please talk a little bit about what you've learned about having and sustaining longevity here in Milwaukee because it's tough. You guys are all fighting for the same gigs, same places, same nights, you know what I'm saying? And there's so much ultra-uber talent here. But it's tough, isn't it? I just want to kind of give a realistic side to this.
Well,
go ahead, Tom.
I've been performing in the Milwaukee music scene for almost 20 years. You mentioned Scotty Barrett. I've played cross-country with him. I've played locally. I've done quite a bit in this town musically. And one thing that I'll say that can help longevity is flexibility. If you get stuck in one particular mindset, you can get left behind pretty quick. That's number one. Number two is your attitude and your approach and your professionalism. To have longevity in this town, you can't burn bridges. The third thing is you have to be flexible musically. So for me, I did 2 Summerfest shows last week. I played country in those 2 shows.
Wow.
I play classic rock, so I can pop variety, whatever the case would be. I pretty much love it all, and I think so. So I think longevity is flexibility. Don't burn any bridges. Keep an open mind, and keep working on your chops. Because at the end of the day, you can take out the first 3 if you don't have any chops. You've got to constantly work your craft, and if you can combine those 3 and you throw in about 50% of his luck, you got a shot at it.
Nice.
Well,
guys,
for me, I'll chime in here a little bit. For my thoughts would be persistence. Be persistent. Don't give up. Never quit. Look at your bandmates as family, as if you're married to them. And that sounds kind of weird, but it's true because when you're together. When you're together that much, you are married to your group, whoever it is, and you're going to have arguments. You're going to have ups and downs, more ups than downs. But you work through those things, and if you can break through that part of it, nothing else will get in your way. Also, be prepared to play for free. Just get your name out there and play for free if you have to. Open up for national acts. I recall back in 1984 opening up for a band called Bad Boy. And it was incredible. It was awesome as a new band for us to have that kind of exposure, and to open up for other local acts to get in front of their crowds, to get your name out there, and that takes time. So be patient, be persistent. And be married to your band. I mean, that's what it is,
And Dave, what are your thoughts?
I have to agree with Don. It's persistence, making sure you're in the right place at the right time. Open up for different bands, even if you have to play for free. I mean, the money thing isn't. If you're involved with the music. The money thing will come. It isn't really about money. For me, it's not. For me, it's not about money. I've told everybody that I've been in a band with that this isn't about money. It's about playing the music. And if you get out there and you play the music and you be persistent, you're going to get your name out there. You're going to get recognized. and just keep doing it. You know, like Don said, don't quit, don't give up. You know, we've been doing this for a long time. Don and I go back a long time. Tom and I go back, you know, a few years now. And, you know, it's persistence, you know, and just keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. Because if you give up, you know, it's like a dream. If you give up on your dream, you know, then you don't have a dream anymore. So this is what we do, and it's, you know, it's kind of a dream of ours to get on big stages and do all this stuff. But, you know, just to play is pretty awesome. So, and to be recognized.
Well, and folks that are listening into my show right now, one of the many reasons that I listed in my little summarization when I was talking about doing the show with these guys today was, whenever I use the term best band in the city, there are reasons for that, and there's reasons why your band, I feel, is distinguishable amongst others. And two of the things, folks, that I can tell you, besides obviously true raw talent and the fact that they are literally a band of brothers, if you will, because they have such a connected relationship with one another, but more importantly, not only have I been told by many people behind your back, all three of you, that not only are you loyal and honest and hardworking, but I love the fact that you all of you, go out and patronize your fellow musicians. Because oftentimes I'm in circles of musicians, artists, other people, and they're not always nice to one another. And I love it when local musicians go out and they make it a point to spend their off time patronizing other musicians. That is way cool in my book. That puts you like way high up on the list. That's amazing and awesome. The fact that you even have time to do that is kind of awesome too, because we're about to talk about your personal life. Because you're not just musicians, you're actual real people. So we'll start with Thomas, because Thomas, there's two things I want to ask you about. Obviously, you're a father, and obviously you have a significant other, and I want to talk a bit about how they have come to shape you as a person and as a professional. And the other thing is, I think it is so kick-ass awesome that you ride a motorcycle, which is awesome. So tell me a little bit about your background from a personal standpoint, and like in the 5 seconds of free time you have, what do you do? And then we'll do that with the other two guys. Oh, no, don't tell me I lost him now.
Must have lost Tom.
No, I'm here.
Oh, no.
Oh, there he is.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, so if you want to talk to us a little bit about your bike, I was just going to say your bike, your babe, and your baby.
Yeah. Yeah, let me talk about my little girl first. First of all, the two things my little girl has taught me. She taught me the meaning of love, and she saved me. The save me part, I won't go into on this. It gets too emotional. But I will say this about my little girl. She has shaped me as a man and an adult. And I had her. I mean, I had my first kid at 42. And she is she's my first and foremost priority over everything. And even though I'm in a divorce situation, she has a great mother, and we have a great family unit, even, you know, between my home and her home. And she's the only person on this earth that can bring a smile to my face just with her presence. So I am extremely fortunate to have an 11-year-old at this age and where I'm at my stage in life. My significant other has taken on the stepmother role and has gone beyond my wildest expectations, and she does a fabulous job. Having been around the block a few times, I have 2 marriages behind me. This one is, this one is the real deal. She's a great gal, and she's very supportive of the music. She's very, very much into the music and the music scene with me. And yeah, my hobby is I've been riding motorcycles for 35 years, and I've never not had a motorcycle for any length of time. It's kind of what I do. I got a little boat I tool around on the lake, and like you said, with 5 seconds of time to myself, I'm usually practicing music.
Of course. What a surprise. Like that 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, now that Thomas has made me cry, we'll move on to Donald, because that was just too touching, and I would probably say the exact same thing about my own kiddos. So, Donald, this is what we know about you from a personal thing. So these are the things I want to address with you. First of all, because we're a show of shameless promotion, I know that you are the founder of Fagan Enterprise, LLC, so we're going to talk about your business. You are not only a, please don't hate me, father, but also a grandfather. All moment, You have a beautiful wife named Betsy. You used to be a totally avid runner. I say used to because we're going to clarify if you are or not. And I like your spiritual side. So just give us a little ballpark background in terms of some of those things, and tell me just a bit about you as the person.
Sure. Well, been married for 24 years. Betsy, the love of my life. We met in 1990. And we have 2 grown children who are now active Army, and so we're empty nesters now. We're very, very proud of our girls. They're both married. Our younger daughter just had our first grandson, who we just met last weekend, 4 months old, and we're just so excited. And
he's cute as hell.
It is surreal to hold your grandson, and and that brings me to my business. And my business is direct mail. We're also an internet marketing company, network marketing, and that's the reason why we're doing it. We want to have the time freedom to be able to go see our grandson whenever we want, and so to have that time freedom is awesome. It also allows us to be able to be in this band and be able to travel whenever we want, and so. It's a growing business, and so it's still in the growth spurt right now, but it's on the upswing. So we're very excited about that. But we live out in the country. We're on 4 acres. Love the outdoors. We have our dream property. We have our 1/3 of an acre pond. We have a stream going through our property, and
it's pretty cool.
We just love. Yeah, we just love where we're at, and very, very content. And but things are going to change in the future here because we're going to bring in Betsy's parents. we're adding on 800 square feet to our home, and
awesome.
We're going to take care of them. Yeah, she's 87, he's 90, so it's going to add a little more to our plate. But you know what? I just hope that my daughters do that for me. So,
I'm sure they will. Oh my gosh, that's touching. That's sweet.
5 seconds being alone. You know what? I'll tell you what. I just like sitting in the yard, looking over the pond, and just having quiet time that way. That's thinking about life and that kind of thing, and direction, and so very content right now. So, and to be in a project like this. At being, the age that I'm at, people might ask, well, why are you doing that? And my answer is because I can,
Right.
Because I can.
No.
So.
I get it. I do.
Yeah. And we give everything to the Lord on this. I give Him the glory with everything that we have and everything that we do, and the friendships that we have, and it's because of Him. So. You talked about my spiritual side. We give the credit to Him, so that's why we are where we are, and being married for 24 years, it's because Christ is the center of our marriage, and that's what we do. So that's what we're about.
Fabulous, absolutely. Okay, Dave, this is what I know about you. You're going to address this a little bit. So Dave, we know, is married with 4 children. God help you, because I got 4 kids, so I don't even know how you don't even have gray hair. So I know that your wife is Chris. We're going to talk about if Cooper the cat has a heart attack every time you play the drums, because I'm like, you have a cat. And we also want to talk about this. You're a fisherman, and I'm going to ask you how in the heck you catch a fish, because last 3 times I've gone, I can't catch shit, literally nothing. And I also saw, and this makes the coolest band member, I'm just going to say right now that I'm most connected to Dave because he is a fan of my top 3 things in the world, and I have interviewed guys from all 3 shows, Goodfellas, Sons of Anarchy, and Sopranos. So I'm like, he is major in my book right now. Absolutely, especially SOA. Those are my favorite guys to entertain. They were like, oh, they are so nice. Absolutely terrific guys. So tell me a little bit about, life at home with having the 4 kids and juggling all of that. Your wife, Chris, of course. And then, we didn't get to talk about that, but obviously you have a cat. So, if you guys are practicing at home, any of you, is that where the wife comes in or the kids are like, really, Dad? Or really, honey? Can we just quit that now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, first of all, my kids are all grown up. They're off on their own. My oldest is actually my stepson. He's 35. the 3 daughters are from my first wife. I'm actually divorced. I was divorced in 2000. We were married for 20 years, and then there was some issues, and we decided to split ways. Then I met Chris, actually pretty much right away. We've been together almost 12 years, and we've been married for almost 8. And we got married in New Orleans, Louisiana, which is our favorite place to go. And the kids are all grown up. The daughters, my oldest one is 31. My second daughter, Ari, she's married, and she's starting her family or whatever. And my youngest just turned 23. So, and they're all beautiful girls.
She's a sax player, right?
She is a sax player, yes. They're all beautiful girls. The other guys have met them before. They can contest to that. And so it's pretty much Chris and I, at our homestead, at our house. I'm about 15 minutes north of Don. Don lives over in Myra. I live in Silver Creek, which is towards Random Lake. And so Don and I, we kind of trek down to Milwaukee every week and back. Oh, wow. So put a lot of miles on our cars and whatever, But home life is, Chris and I enjoy spending time on our deck, and she pretty much works a lot. So she's busy with her job, and her mom is like 92, so she's been taking care of her, and so it leaves me the opportunity to go out and pursue the music stuff, and so that's pretty much how I get to go do that, because she's busy with other things. And the time that we do spend together, it's pretty quality. So, it is what it is, and I love it. So, and the one thing, like you said, the fishing thing, it's pretty much the one thing that Chris and I just absolutely love to do together. So
that's awesome. I like that.
As many chances as we get to go out and do that, you can see these guys. I post pictures of all these stupid little fish that I catch. And
hey, at least you're catching them. Some of us aren't getting nothing.
Yeah. I don't know how I catch them. I put a worm on a hook, and that's it. So
that's it.
And
thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for that big wisdom and knowledge there. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you do it. It's just I just do it.
Worm and a hook.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And like you said, I do love The Sopranos. I do love Goodfellas. It's it's my favorite movie. And Sons of Anarchy. Bikes. I had a bike. I sold it a few years ago. And too many friends of mine were getting in accidents and stuff. I didn't want to be next.
Oh, that's scary. Definitely scary there. But it's awesome to have a bike. Yeah. Obviously. But cool.
Yep.
So
maybe someday.
Now that I've told my audience a little bit about who you are in general, before I forget to play this song, we're going to obviously play your version of Double Vision. But before I do that, I think in all fairness, because there's only for the band here, either all of you or one of you can decide to do it. But just give us a nice brief summarization of the rest of the band members, because in all fairness, even though they can't join us, we should probably be acquainted with who they are and what they do.
Tom, you want to take that?
Tom, go ahead. Go ahead and take it, Tom. We're passing the ball. We're passing the ball.
Tom there?
Yeah.
He's there. He's just being quiet.
You got the three of us, and our keyboardist is an extraordinary musician and a great guy. I've become close friends with him over these last couple of years, and he holds down the challenging keyboard parts. Paul Shire, and Paul has jumped into this project full-fledged. He invested in his rig to get it to be where it needed to be for these songs. He's learned the music. He contributes on many levels. The other fellow, my counterpart on guitar, Jason Hagberg. A lot of folks know him from around town. He works at Guitar Center. He's been there for a number of years, so a lot of folks know him. He's an outstanding musician. The dirty little secret is he's probably a way better guitar player than me, but don't tell anybody that.
All right, then. We just said that on national radio, but okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, he's an outstanding guitar player. He's a quality musician. I learn from collaborating with him for sure. He was brought in to play a guitar role in this project, which he willingly embraced, and he's part of our sound. And certainly he's a pleasure for me to work with. Great guy, get along with him great, and I'm very fortunate to
he gets along with
have
everybody.
him on the other.
He's so quiet.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate to have him as the other guitar player. So I'm very fortunate for that. So that's the last but not least. I'm gonna let Don talk about Ken Gore, because they are lifelong friends.
Yeah. Ken Gore, he was the best man at my wedding. So we do go back fairly far, going back to probably the mid '80s. And Ken, fabulous, phenomenal bass player. He takes bass playing to a whole nother level. He's a perfectionist, and with all these guys as they're playing, they're also singing, and that includes Dave as well. Dave, don't cut yourself short either, Dave. Dave also sings while he's playing drums. So, and we're bringing in Tom to sing as well. So Tom is having a mic in front of him at one of our shows coming up, and that's going to be consistent as well. But anyway, all these guys sing. Ken is a key component of our band. He's in charge of making sure that everyone has the harmonies right and that kind of thing. So he's got a great ear for that, and it's a great unit.
Nice, very nice. Now,
outstanding guy.
Well, the entire band is outstanding. Literally, you have a conglomeration of just such creative talent. I don't even need to say. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play the song so everybody can hear this, and then obviously they can assess for themselves. By the way, these folks were also 2017 WAMI nominated for Best Tribute Band as well. You're about to hear why. So you guys take a rest for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and this is Double Vision.
I've been from one to another extreme. This time I had a good time, ain't got time to wait. I wanna stick around till I can't be straight. In my eyes, there's that double vision. No, the sky.
Okay, so let me just say this. Wasn't that just like being at a Foreigner concert, folks? Yeah, duh. Obviously, it goes without saying. Okay, now I want to go through the lineup so that folks understand this, and I'm going to have you elaborate a little bit. The next 4 gigs these guys are going to be playing at, obviously tomorrow, July 8th, which is going to be at Kelly's Bleachers in Wind Lake, which is, of course, the Strandy benefit, which we're going to talk about in a second, which is going on from 2 to 11. But the band starts at 8 o'clock. July 26th, Harley-Davidson in Milwaukee, they'll be playing at 6 o'clock. August 4th, they'll be at the Wisconsin State Fair at 7 o'clock. And then September 22nd, they'll be at the Saloon on Calhoun starting at 8:30. So if you wouldn't mind, one of you, please explain, because I'm somewhat familiar with the story of the benefit, but please just let everybody know why it's so important that they show up sometime tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. So I work with a gentleman. His name is Jay Strand, and he is from Muskego. He's a business owner in Muskego, and he works the same company I do. He is currently in a sales role at the division that I work in, and we work closely, and we became friends. And just about a little over 2.5, 3 months ago, his son was in an accident where he fell off a golf cart and struck his head. He was transported to University Hospital in Madison. It was a very severe critical injury. Required part of his skull to be removed to manage the swelling in his brain. And there were some ups and downs throughout that process. And he has a long road to recovery. He, however, is doing outstanding. He's really a miracle kid. As a teenager, he was on a pathway to scholarships for volleyball. And, of course, this has put a temporary hold on things. The medical bills with deductions and the fact that his mother didn't leave his bedside for 2 months, lived at the hospital, has put them in a significant financial bind. So some friends of Jay organized this benefit. I was brought in on the music side. My band stepped up to do it. And it all is coming together tomorrow. There's a committee of about probably total just around 20 people that have been organizing this, and I know there's maybe double that in terms of volunteers. So the donors are numerous. I dare say 100 or more donors, corporate sponsorship. Kelly's Bleachers in Wind Lake. Kelly Vasitas stepped up, gave his club. Mark's Pioneer Inn has spearheaded the fundraising effort. Mark from Mark's Pioneer Inn, and just a lot of folks. And tomorrow it all goes down.
That is absolutely awesome. That is fabulous.
Yeah,
There's nothing better than a band and a community organizing something such as this to help out someone who is having such unfortunate circumstances. I'm going to read off a bunch of different places where everybody can find you, so just remind me if I've forgotten anything. And before I forget to remind everybody, the Real Live Foreigner, which is, of course, what this tribute band in part is based upon, just so you folks know, in case you live under a rock, they have been around for 40 years. As a matter of fact, they're doing their Canada 2017 thing this year, which I'm going to see. They are responsible for 10 multi-platinum albums, 16 top 30 hits. They're one of the most amazing, one of my top favorites. I've danced to them, cried to them, probably gotten lucky to them. I did not just say that live. Yes, I did. Okay, so ways to find these fab guys online. Thank you. www.headknockerrocks.com is the actual website. They also have a presence on Facebook, which is, of course, Headknocker Rocks. Each one of them has a personal page. Just to remind everybody, Donald Fagan, that's spelled Fagan, who is lead vocals, of course, has a personal page. Thomas Edward Hunter, he has his Facebook page. And, of course, Dave, and the last name is Sundeen, and that would be the drummer, of course. So each one of them has personal pages along with the other 3 band members. Twitter handle is @HeadknockerRock. And, of course, Donald, I see you have a Twitter handle, which is @DonaldFagan, the number 4, and then the letter U. So do you two boys also have Twitter or Instagram or anything as far as Donald or Thomas?
No, just Facebook and then the actual website.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm just Facebook and then our website.
Gotcha. Absolutely.
Actually, Actually, Cindy,
Yeah.
I'm going to chime in here real quick. All these guys have Twitter accounts. They just don't know how to use them.
Oh, my God.
That's correct.
They just don't know how to use social media, darn it.
Hey, you got to remember, we're
Tom
old,
can't even
so.
spell tweet.
Oh, my God. Hey, I give you A for effort just to try. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to keep up with, like, tweeting, Instagramming, Facebooking, because I have to do all of them. And it's maddening. There's a lot that's happening with all that good stuff. So, yeah, I totally, hey, you know what? Facebook is perfectly fine. Website's perfectly fine. I get it. So the last thing we always do on the show is I get an opportunity to tell you what I think of you. So just to remind you guys, all of you, and you can let the band know this as well, about 2 hours after the show gets done, I'll send you guys the actual link because it takes about 2 hours for it to archive. Anybody can go back and listen to it at any point in time, which is why I can send the real live foreigner the link so they can actually listen to this, and I'll be very embarrassed.
Awesome.
And you guys will sound wonderful. So just so you know, that's out there all of the time. Just so you also know, it looks very clear on my schedule for tomorrow night, so it looks like I can come and see you play for the very first time tomorrow night.
Oh,
that'll
be awesome.
That would be fabulous.
I'm nervous to be in your presence, so I can see you perform, and not only that, doing a good deed. I mean, stepping out for an hour and going someplace, even if it's I don't even know where this place is. I just called a friend of mine, and I'm like, dude, do you know how to get there? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, we're going. One of many stops because I, too, am a big believer in supporting local music. That's a big thing for me. And, of course, I'll be in Harley, and I'll be getting a ride there.
Take Highway 36. You'll run right into it.
I talked to Dave before the show. He says we can get you some backstage passes.
Oh, my God, like, really? And then I get to, like, hang out and be a total groupie? Okay, that's stalker. Kind of, sort of. And then your girlfriends and wives will kick my ass. I don't think so. But, no. So I will definitely, for sure, go tomorrow, and I can definitely go to the Harley thing because I'm a big supporter. And, well, Chaz doesn't open, or I shouldn't say that, but the guy doesn't, whoever owned Harley doesn't own it anymore, so now I can go there. And, of course, the state fair. Oh, I wanted to remind everybody, at the state fair, is there a particular stage? Because I forgot to check which stage you're playing at on the
Water Street Brewery.
Water Street Brewery.
Okay, and I could probably attend that if I'm in town. I might be in New York, but I'm not 100% sure. So,
hey, Cindy,
I want to tell you guys
talk
what
New
I
York
think of
sometime because I'm from
New
York.
You know what? Because we can't do it right now because we're running out of time. But we need to talk about New York City because you have to tell me where to live and what to do and the music scene and all that stuff because I spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, let's talk about that sometime. Sure.
Yes, please. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this show up by telling all of you what I think of you. Some people cry and some people don't know what to say, so hopefully I won't freak you out. But the main reason that I do this last little repartee is it's not scripted. This is the only part of my show that I don't write. That means that I'm not bullshitting and I'm being very honest in my opinion. I haven't had any time to think about it. Well, I have had a bit. But the point is these are just reflections so that people that are in the listening audience right now get a sense of who you are as musicians and as people and why they should support you and why that I think you're the best band or one of the best bands in town. So here we go. Thomas Edward Hunter and I became friends before I became friends with the other two boys on this call. And the first thing I learned about Thomas right off the bat was that he was extremely passionate about absolutely everything, whether it's talking about the environment, his girlfriend, his child, or whatever. And I'm a gravitator to gravitas of that magnitude. Any person that is boisterous over the top, I'm totally down for this. The fact that he rode a motorcycle didn't hurt. The fact that he was a supporter of mine always helps to influence me to say, hey, this person should come on my show. So I was a little behind the eight ball because I was talking to two other guys I had never met before. So I did my homework as a journalist, and I went behind all of your backs to find out who you actually were. And what a refreshing, inspiring experience for me to find out that these guys are not only really super genuine, but they're genuine with one another. They play with true heart and soul and passion. They sound almost identical to the real deal that exists. I'm not saying that because they're paying me to say it or because they asked to come on my show and they were really nice about it. I'm saying it because I've listened to enough of their material to know this. I've talked to the people that have been in their crowds, that have cheered them on, that have danced with them, that have watched their stage performance. And the one thing that comes out of your fans and your followers and the people that know you is they're setting a legacy or a legend, meaning that the performances and the passion and the power with which you perform is something that's going to stick around almost as long, if not as long, as the band itself of Foreigner. I hope with any luck at all that I get to be in a room with you guys for longer than 5 or 10 minutes tomorrow because I think you're spectacular. You're what I call creative chameleons on my show. You can play, you can write, you can juggle your lives. You have found life happiness. You've found happiness through music. And most importantly, you entertain all of us poor little schmucks that don't know how to play. I can't play a chord. I can't write a single musical song. But what I can do is expose 60,000 people to a band that truly possesses a band of brothers who couldn't possibly be more amazing to me. So I thank you.
Awesome.
It truly was my honor to have you on here.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait to meet you tomorrow.
Thank
and
you.
if I
It's
score
our pleasure.
4-0, if we score 4-0, you're
Cindy.
so on the docket. Of course. Anytime. I'm sorry that it took so long, but sometimes the best interviews take longer because you got to cover everything. So I hope I did you justice. I hope you're satisfied. I hope.
Yeah,
So
well, thank
looking
you for
forward
the
to seeing you tomorrow
opportunity.
night.
Yes, you can tell me all of your thoughts tomorrow in person. That would be absolutely awesome. And I'll make sure that please, somebody make sure to send me the benefit page because I'll post it up on my wall tonight so that people that may want to come that don't know about it, they'll know about you being there and then they'll know about the family story because I need somebody to forward it to me so I can post it. That would be great.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do. Definitely. Hey, thanks again.
Definitely.
Cindy, it's been a pleasure. It really has. And I'm humbled. I look forward to meeting you.
Thank you. Definitely. It'll be a great
Thank
time
you,
tomorrow,
Cindy.
certainly, without a doubt. Thank you guys all for taking your time. And please tell the bandmates that I'm sorry they weren't able to join, and I'm looking forward to seeing them tomorrow. And you guys have a great time tonight. I'm going to go write 6,000 words now. Yay, because that's my Friday after working.
Thanks so much.
Yay! I'll see you
Okay.
guys tomorrow. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good night, dears.
Okay. All right.
Tell me that they were not absolutely fabulous, right? It's almost like I had Foreigner on my couch/kitchen, but not really. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So let's do the run-through one more time. Tomorrow, July 8th, they are at Kelly's Bleachers, which is in Wind Lake, and that's for the Strand benefit. Again, it's from 2 to 11, but the band itself is starting at 8 o'clock. July 26th at 6 o'clock, Harley-Davidson of Milwaukee. August 4th at the Water Street Brewery stage at the Wisconsin State Fair, starting at 7 o'clock. And 8:30 on September 22nd, Dave Diller, one of the nicest guys in town and huge supporter of live music, Saloon on Calhoun, and that's 8:30. Again, the website, www.headknockerrocks.com. Facebook is Headknocker Rocks, each one having a personal page. Again, the name's Donald Fagan, Fagan, Dave Sundeen, Sundeen, and Thomas Edward Hunter, all three personal pages. Twitter at Headknocker Rock and at Donald Fagan, number 4, and then the letter U. My deepest and dearest thanks to Donald, to David, and to Thomas, all for coming on the show today and giving me so much time. I appreciate it. Thanks so much to my listening audience. Without you guys being here on a Friday afternoon, I surely wouldn't have anyone to listen to me. And again, in case I didn't give you props last week, peeps, we're at 61,200 listeners solid, and that's spread across 20 states, and I should say now 10% in France as well as in Italy, so I'm getting super excited. So, again, thanks so much for all of your support. Looking forward to, my next show will be another live musician. Scotty B, U.S. Project, Bad Boy, you name it, he does it. He is the man about town. 12 o'clock Central Standard Time on July 11th for my birthday week. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. If you get some time out tomorrow, stop off and see the band. I'm going to be out and about this weekend since we all know I didn't go to Vegas for the convention. So anybody who wants to hang out, go out, have an event, please advise. And I look forward to seeing you guys over the weekend. Talk to you on Tuesday.
Did you know that someone is diagnosed with blood cancer like leukemia every 3 minutes? For many of those patients, a marrow transplant is their only hope for survival. Who will you save? Join Be the Match Registry today at youkouldbethecure.org.